Okay, yeah. Hi everyone. Actually, sorry for the delay. I hope I'm audible. If yes, you can just uh, send the message in the chat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, guys. So, okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is also getting visible. Yeah, I think recording is also happen. Okay. So, okay, yeah. So we are happily inviting you for today. Kubernetes CNCF Madurai event. So today we are going to discuss about various Kubernetes deployment strategies. Okay. Before starting the session, I would like to know about how many of you are already working in Kubernetes. If you are already working, just uh, send the message in chat. If even if you are new for this, it's fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fine. I'm new. Okay. Okay. Vignesh, I would suggest in Kubernetes CNC of Madurai, we have a YouTube channel. Okay. So we already published Kubernetes masterclass from basic to beginner level. Okay. CNCF Madurai. So this is the event, the video you can see. So we covered most of the Kubernetes concept and components and resource, everything we discussed. So feel free to check this video. Okay. So in this part, this is also beginner friendly. Okay. No issue if you are new for this event. Also, you can easily understand. Okay. So okay, the agenda today agenda is we are going to discuss about various Kubernetes deployment strategies. So first one, recreate a deployment strategy, and second one, rolling update, and third one, blue green deployment, and fourth one, canary deployment. Okay, so these are the deployments we are going to discuss about. And then let me introduce myself. I am Veera Solayappan. I'm currently working as a senior software developer at Tech System. Totally, I have a 4+ years of experience in various domains such as GIS, e-commerce, supply chain, and decentralized finance project. Also, I handled in previous organizations like, and I'm currently being a part of Cloud Native Madurai as a co-organizer. Okay, and I'm actively writing blogs which is regarding full stack development, blockchain, cloud based services, which I'm doing it. Okay, and then I'm actively conducting and contributing some other tech communities also, whether I'm participating as a speaker or I'm hosting the event. This I'm doing it when I'm having free time. So this is all about myself. Okay, so let's get into the session. Okay, so let me, yeah. So why we need a deployment generally? So let's talk about software development lifecycle. So basically, how we are doing the development, we will do our development in our local system. Okay, or we will use some cloud environment for developing our application. Okay, but that's everything in our development circle only. We have the application, but we have to deliver our application to client side, right? The end users should use our application. So that's purpose we have to deploy our application uh, in some of the cloud services, so that those cloud services would be available in 24 into 7 bar, it should be available. Okay, so what are the challenges we will face when we are deploying our application in any one of the server? So these are the challenges like, can we upgrade the application without zero downtime? Okay, so is it possible if I am upgrade application from old version to new version, whether in that time my application it should go down, or it should not, it should be available in that time also. Okay, so and then if we upgrade replicas sequentially one after another, is it possible to do it or not? Like, For example, I have a backup server also. If I'm upgrading it, how I will upgrade it? I will upgrade my backup server also one by one, or I have to upgrade my all the backups are at the same time. This is also we have to consider. Okay. And then can you pause and resume your upgrade process even you are upgrading it? Is it you are able to pause your upgrade and then resume your upgrade, or you are able to roll back to your upgrade process? Is it possible to do it? Okay. And then last one, the rollback upgrade to your previous stable. If you upgraded to latest version, let's talk about your currently you have a v1 version of your application, you are upgrading to v2. In your v2 you have some of the issue in your code base or something. In that case, we can easily roll back to our application to previous version, v1 version. We should able to do that. So is it possible to do it? These are the challenges we have in our deployment side. Okay. So generally, what is deployment? We know about deployment is the activity that help to deliver your applications, make your application available to end user. Okay. So how it's handled in Kubernetes? Okay. In Kubernetes, deployment, it's automatically handled by they have a controllers. Through the controllers our application will be deployed. Deployed means our application will be available to public. Okay. So there are two controllers. First controller is deployment controller, and another controller is replica set controller. Deployment controller will take the responsibility of deploying our application. Replica set controller, it take the responsibility of making the replicas of your server, like a backups. Okay. So it will handle that. Okay. So in the replica set, what is the combination of resources? Combination of replica set is, it has pod template plus replicas. Pod template means in the pod only we can define which application image we are going to deploy. So in the pod template we have to define our Docker image. Okay. And then replicas, how many replicas we need. This is the combination of replica set. And then what is deployment is replica set template plus upgrade strategy. So in the deployment resource, it should have a replica set template and then upgrade strategy, which strategy we are going to follow, whether it's in a rolling update, or whether it's a rolling update, or a recreate. Okay. And then are we you going to use some other deployment strategy, or everything we have to define in our deployment. Okay. So and then deployment is combination of pod template, replication, and deployment strategy. This is the just like a explanation how Kubernetes is handling it. Okay. Now let's, okay, yeah, this is the pictorial diagram of how deployment is handling in Kubernetes. Okay. So in the base we have a nodes is the server. Okay. In Kubernetes cluster, it's a kind of worker node. Okay. Worker node will have a pods have our Docker container images. Okay. In Docker container images our application. Okay. So pod will provide the environment to run our application. Okay. And then it's a managed and under handled by replica set. Replica set will replicate our existing application. It will make the copy of, make the clone of our current application. Okay. Current pod. Okay. So and then under the replica set, it will be handled by deployment controller. Okay. So this is the pictorial diagram of how deployment is handled in Kubernetes. So the next one, okay, what are the strategies we have so far? So these are the main strategies: recreate, rolling update, blue green deployment, and canary. What is recreate is, for example, I have a v1 version application. I have a 4 replica pods. If you are applying recreate strategies, your entire 4 replicas will be terminated at the same time, and then new replicas will be created. Okay, this is a new version application will be created. So this is the recreate strategy. Rolling update, it will, for example, same you for we version 1 replicas you have, parts you have, and then if you are applying rolling update, one by one, uh, in sequentially, one by one, parts will be deleted, parts will be added. So this is the rolling update strategy. And then blue green deployment is, blue green deployment, you are creating the same environment for 2 different applications. Okay. So you are providing you are and the same time version 1 application also should be running, and then version 2 application also should be running, parts also should be running. Okay. But the network traffic we are sending to the particular namespace or particular parts only we are sending it. Okay. So when the particular particular group of parts it's having failure, we will redirect the network traffic to some other another part, version 2 parts, we can do, we can easily do that. So that is the called blue green deployment. Okay, and then what is canary deployment is, canary deployment is also similar to blue green deployment, but instead of switching the entire network traffic to one set of parts to another parts, we will gradually increasing the network traffic. For example, um, I have a version 1 application in 3 replicas, and then version 2 application in 2 replicas. Kubernetes network handlers will split the network traffic to uh, the based on the replicas we have. For example, I have a 3 parts in version 1 and then 2 parts in version 2. Kubernetes will send like 60 percentage part network traffic to version 1, and then 40 percentage traffic into the version 2. This is the canary deployment strategies. Okay, so these are the strategies we are going to look into it. Mostly this session is fully oriented hands-on part. Okay, so we will discuss about one by one. Okay, so as we discussed recreation deployment strategies, it will terminate all the existing instance. Okay, and then it creates the new updated version. Okay, so the application state, the process, the application state's entirely renewed. So it will be, everything is deleted and then everything will be recreated. But the cons is actually downtime of the application. It depends on your shutdown and then boot duration. So we can face some downtime in this kind of strategy. It's mainly suitable for development environment, not the production environment. It's not suitable. Okay, these strategies. So this is how, for example, I have a version 1, version 2. If I'm going to upgrade it, version 1, version 2 will be deleted. Okay, and the new version 2, version 2 will be added. Replicas will be added. So this is the uh, recreate deployment. So okay, so and meanwhile I can show the demo how it works. Kubernetes ATF new line developer. So this is the repository. Kubernetes deployment. Okay, so this is the repository, have all the deployment strategies. I will say, can you ping me the link please? Yes. Okay, you are asking for a YouTube video. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the k deployments repository. Okay, I already cloned, so we will go and check one by one. Okay, so before starting it, I already mentioned in the in the same description what are the things we are going to, what are the strategies we have, what are the prerequisites we need. Okay, in yours, if you are going to implement it in your application. So we need a Docker setup. Okay, I provided the link to install it. And then we need a kubectl. And then what is the kubectl is, it will provide the interface. For example, Kubernetes cluster is the separated one, separated component. Okay, how you can interact. So through kubectl, it will provide the CLI interface. Through that, you can easily interact it. So what I'm saying is, you have to install the kubectl, and then using kubectl commands, you can connect with your Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so and that command links also provided to you go and check based on your system configuration, you install it. And then we are using Minikube. Minikube is your single node cluster. We can create multi-node cluster also, but for our development testing purpose, it's actually your local cluster. So you can install your Kubernetes cluster in your local system, and then you can deploy your images, you can deploy your application, and you can test it. For testing purpose, we can use Minikube. So that link also we provided here. And then some of the YAML script basics we should know about, and then Kubernetes basics we should know about. So Kubernetes basics, we already shared the link with you. Okay, you just go and watch that, and then once everything is done, you can just verify it that everything is installed or not. Okay, and then okay, so first we are going to discuss about, we discussed about recreate deployment strategies. So in the repository you can see recreate folder. Okay, so we have a deployment and we have a service. Okay, in the deployment we have to define our images. Okay, our which application we are going to deploy it. Okay, so I have my Docker hub. In Docker hub I have my node application, so I have a version 1 application here, so I deployed it. And then in specification, so this is the deployment resource. Okay, so and then I mentioned I needed 2 replicas. Okay, the strategy is recreate. Okay, I mentioned my strategy here. So this is what I mentioned in the documentation also. So you have to, in your specification you have to mention how many replicas you need, and then strategy also you have to mention it. So now let's test this one. So the testing commands also I provided. Okay, so now my deployment is uh, applied and my service we need to check. So in the service what I'm saying is my application I'm using node port. Okay, it's actually using 3000 internal port and external port. I'm using my selector is I'm mention my deployment. Okay, so this is my label. I'm connecting my service with this deployment. Okay, so my app is my deployment. I'm connecting my service with my deployment. Okay, so this service will expose our application to public net. Okay, so the type of service is node port. There are 3 types we have. One is node port and load balancer, and another one is ingress controller we have it. Okay, so I'm using it node port. Through that I can use cluster port. Through that I can see my I can access my application to the public. Okay, so let's deploy service also. Okay, and then let's see the changes. So you can see I applied 2 replicas, right? So I can see the 2 replicas here. So these both are running my version 1 application. Okay, so here kubectl get svc, I can see the service node port, and then this is the cluster IP address, and then the existing external port is 3000, but it's using cluster IP address. We can convert it into the localhost also. We can do that. So how we can do it is kubectl port forward. We need to do port forward the service my app localhost 3000 port. I'm going to use it. Okay, so we can see 3000 port. We can see it here. Okay, so in that case let's open the browser. So localhost 3000, you can see you can see it, Kubernetes deployment version 1 application is running, correct? So now let's upgrade it to version 2. Let's see what's happening there. I will stop this, and then in the deployment I will change version 1 to version 2. Okay, and then I will redeploy my version, reapply the deployment here. Okay, it's configured. You can see the changes here. Both are terminated, and then new pod is, all the pods are terminated, and the new pod is creating it now. Okay, so this is basically deleting the entire pods or pod replicas, and then it's newly creating the new pods. Okay, so this is how recreate is working. So kubectl svc, and then kubectl port forward. Let's do. And then here we can see version 2. Are you able to see that? Yeah. So now I can see the version 2 application. Okay. So now let's move to the next deployment strategies. Let's delete that. Deleted the pod and deleted the service. Okay. So the next one is rolling update. Okay. So the rolling update image wise. So the rolling update we discussed in previous slides. So instead of deleting the all the replicas, it will delete one by one. It will upgrade the version one pod one. So at a time one pod, at that pod upgrade also we can control it, we can manage it. Okay. Gradually updates the application by replacing the old replicas with the new one. Okay. So the version is slowly released across the instance, convenient for stateful application. Okay. So it's the drawbacks is roll back and then roll out and roll back can take time, because for example I upgraded version in cluster from version 1 to version 2, application from version 1 to version 2. So when I'm upgrading it, it will upgrade one by one. Okay. For four replicas, I have four replicas, I will upgrade one by one. If I'm going to roll back, the rollback process also will happen one by one. Okay. So that time it will take in that case it will take some time. So that's the one of the disadvantages in. And then it's supporting multiple APIs, it's very hard. And then no control over traffic. The control over traffic is also, that is we cannot manage it. And then it's suitable for QA and UAT environment, and also it's suitable for stateful application handle. Okay. So stateful application means some of the data we don't want to lose it, we should store in our container in our pod. So that's called stateful application. Okay. So this is the pictorial representation of how version 1 and the rolling update is happening. So this the zeroth picture will we can see all the version 1 application. And then first picture we can see first pod has been deleted, and then version 2 we added. Okay. Still we have a 3 version 1. And then here we can see the second pod version 1 added, and then third and the next image we can see another pod deleted and new pod added. And then finally all the parts will be created. Okay. So this is the rolling update. So now let's check how it's functioning. Okay. So do you have any questions? Simplify or modify the version number. uh, Maybe the questions we can discuss about in later. Okay. So for now let's focus on in this session, and then finally we will discuss about your questions and everything. Okay. Okay. Similar like recreate, we have to mention our in the deployment, we have to mention what is my strategy I'm going to use, and then what is my uh, how many minimum, how many replicas should be added, minimum how many replicas should be like the maximum how many replicas should be removed, maximum how many replicas should be newly added. That's called max surge and then max unavailable. Okay. So my container will not face any downtime if one replicas goes down. Okay. If my container will not face any downtime, my cluster will not face any downtime if newly added, if one new pod is added. Okay. So this is the concept called max surge and max available. Okay. So we have to define the replicas, and then maximum if you add one replicas it's fine. And then if one pod is, if we are deleting, yeah, it's same. We are basically equalizing uh, the deleting the pod and adding the pod. Okay. So in that case we won't face any downtime. Okay. So let's deploy the rolling update. Deployed there. Okay, so in the full rolling update folder, we can see we are deploying version 1 application. Okay, so kubectl get pods hyphen watch. So I deployed 3 um, replicas. I deployed. Okay, so and then I have to port forward it, right? I have to make it, I can access it in my local host. Okay, so version 1 application is running. So now let's upgrade to version 2 rolling update. Okay, so in this case, here you can see that the pod, not the entire pod is terminated. Pods are terminated one by one, and the new pods also added one by one. So this is how the rolling update is happening. In meantime, our application should not go down. Okay, just a second. Just a second. kubectl get pods. Okay, so okay, I need to port forward it, right? Yeah, I think all 3 pods are running. I can see now the version 2 application is upgraded. Okay, so this is how the rolling update it's running. So the next strategy we are going to discuss about is blue green deployment. So in the blue green deployment, deploys the new version of application along with the existing one. Okay, so the same set of application you are running simultaneously, but the network traffic we are redirecting to one version at a time. Okay, if anything went wrong, we are totally moving entire network to another another version parts. So this is how the blue green deployment is working. So the pros, like what are the advantages is we can easily roll out and roll back, and the avoid worsening issues and change, we can easily do that. And then it require double resources, the same environment, um, we have to run same in resources we have to provide for another version. Okay, and then proper test to the entire platform should be done before releasing to the production. And handling the stateful application, it should be very hard. And then it's suitable for production, and most of the some of the production environment they are handling this blue green and deployment strategy also, they are handling it. Okay, so this is the pictorial representation of how version 1 and version 2 they are handling it. Okay, so they have a version 1 and version 2, and then they are adding version 2 also. But finally the version 1 version 2 also there, but that the network we are switching totally to a new version. Okay, so our service we have it, right? In our Kubernetes, the service we have so through the service we can change the label. Okay, through that the network will be redirected to another version. So this is how it's functioning. Okay, so finally the old versions we can delete it. If we need, we can keep it, otherwise we can delete it. So let's check how we can handle it. Okay, let's delete it first, the previous one. Deployment app deleted, and so the service also deleted. Okay, cool. kubectl get pods. Great. So now let's move to the blue-green deployment. So in blue-green deployment, you can see there is a separate folder blue-green deployment. Okay, so there are two deployments I have. One is blue and another one is green deployment. In blue deployment, it has version 1 application. Okay, and then green deployment, it has version 2 application. Okay, and in service, I'm configuring with green. Okay, the version, the selector I mentioned, I need to send the traffic to green deployment. I'm sending it. So in the green, my label, everything is here. So I'm send the traffic to green. So what green it has? Green have version 2 application it has. Okay, so now let's deploy this and then let's test. So blue is deployed and green is also deployed. Okay, so let's deploy the service. kubectl get pods hyphen watch. So here you can see my app blue, there are two replicas, and then my app green have a two replicas. Okay, let's open the let's port forward and then let's see how which application is running. 3000, I think version 2, because we in the service we mention green deployment, right? So in the service we mention green deployment have version 2 application. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my traffic from green to blue. This is what I'm going to do. So in service I'm going to change my version from green to blue. My network will be redirected to version sorry, the blue version, it will be redirected. So in this case, so blue is there, and so blue, yeah, correct. So maybe let's delete the deployment and delete the service, and I will do that. Just a second. It was green, right? Green. Okay, so in the service I will delete it. Deleted. Now I will upgrade it to blue. So now I will deploy it again. Okay, so now it should send the traffic to version 1 application. kubectl, I need to port forward to access in localhost. See, are you able to see that the version 1 now? Yeah, so this is how we can switch the traffic from one set of pods to another pod. This is the blue green deployment. Okay, so now let's move to the final deployment, which is Canary. Okay, in Canary, so it's actually resolving the disadvantages of blue green deployment. In blue green deployment, we are actually switching the entire traffic from one set of pods to another set of pods, right? So instead of doing that, we can have both set of pods, and then Kubernetes, in Kubernetes we can split the network traffic. Okay, so for example, I have a version 1 uh, parts, I have a 3 replicas. Okay, and then version 2 parts, I have a 2 replicas. In that case, Kubernetes, in it will manage by itself, based on the replicas we have, it will redirect the network traffic to the pods. It will handle it. Otherwise, if you want to control it, we can use some other third party services also, some other third parties operators, third party services, we can use it. So those services are nginx, like nginx controller. Through that we can send the traffic. 25% it should be sent it to uh, version 1, and then remaining traffic should be sent to uh, like a version 2. That also we can control it. And then we have another one service called istio. It's a service mesh. That's also will help you to control your network traffic. Okay, so in your entire cluster, and also it will help you to track how your network traffic and everything is going, and then how your how applications are performing. If anything went wrong, how we can figure it out. That's istio is a separate service. Okay, it's actually full suite service. So we will discuss about in upcoming session. Okay, how to deploy the istio, and then how istio is working. That we will discuss in later part. In this part, we are going to use default Kubernetes services. So we are going to deploy two versions applications, version 1 and version 2, and then Kubernetes will handle, it will decide send the network traffic to various applications. Okay, so it's deploys a new version of application to small set of users, and then they test it for its users before rolling out to all the users. Okay, so the versions released to subset of users. It's convenient for error rate and monitoring purpose. A fast rollback, we can easily roll back it. So and then the network traffic, the distribution can be expensive. Sometimes it will be expensive. This is also suitable for production environment. Okay, this is how network will be uh, splitted to your cluster. Okay, so this is the canary deployment. So now let's implement it. First we will delete the blue green deployment. Canary deployment is the deployment. Yeah, so this is we are going to discuss about. Let's deploy that. Okay, in here we can see canary folder. Another canary folder, we can see my app canary deployment. In canary deployment we have a version 1, and then it has replica is one replica. Okay, and then my app deployment, it has the version 2 application. Okay, it has replica is 2 replicas. So totally we have a 3 replicas. Okay, Kubernetes will decide which uh, send the network traffic to which part. Okay, so if you want to control, we can use these third party services. We can use istio or nginx, we can use it. Okay, so let me deploy it. I hope I deployed kubectl. Not. Okay, so kubectl get pods live watch. So I will just put forward to localhost for accessing service in localhost. I can access it in 3000. Okay, I can see version 1. So most of the request I can see version 1. Sometimes I can see version 2 application also. I can see it based on the replica counts we have. Based on the replicas we have, Kubernetes will redirect the traffic to the pods. So this is the canary deployment. Maybe let's run this and then check. Just a second. Sleep. Go here. Yeah, mostly I can see version 1. Sometimes um it will send the redirected network to version 2 also. It will redirect it. But it will be decided by Kubernetes inbuilt network controller. If you want to control that, we can use some third party nginx controller and istio controller that we have to use it. Okay, so this is the uh, Canary deployment. Okay, so these are the deployments we have. So maybe in upcoming next session we will discuss about how to implement istio, the service mesh and the network traffic, how to we can control it, that we will discuss about it. Okay, so I think that's it from my side. Now if you have any questions, I will turn on the uh, like unmute yourself, and then you can ask. Just a second, let me delete it. Okay, yeah, just a second. Session is recording it. How can I make you moderator? Okay, I hope now you can speak. Vignesh, yeah. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Hi, Veera. Hi, Veera. Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, this is my first time actually. I saw that, so
Okay,
so I got update from Selvam actually. So one of
okay,
my friend
okay.
actually. So
Yes, 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 yeah,
so I got update from you from YouTube channel, right? So first I saw that
yeah,
master
yes,
class,
yes,
then able to understand the Kubernetes concept, and
yes,
then go to this deployment model. But
yeah,
I simply you have clarified all the things actually end to end, right? It's a version
yes, yes,
one and version two. So
yes,
those and all we are applied in production environment. So
yeah,
there you simply you are mentioned Visual Studio, right? At that one. So you update and testing purpose. Visual
yeah.
Studio for that. Yeah.
Visual Studio Code, we are using it for editing our configuration. That's it. But the cluster in production, how we can use, there are some cloud services. That is right for
Oh, okay.
in AWS they are providing Elastic Kubernetes service, and
Mm-hmm.
then in Azure they are providing Azure Kubernetes service. So we
Okay.
have to connect that. But it's also similar to the Minikube. Minikube is for our local development purpose.
Okay.
So
Okay.
uh, for cost cutting purpose, I'm using Minikube. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
if I'm using any cloud services, it will be chargeable. So that's
Oh,
why.
got it, got it. Okay,
Yeah,
this the Visual Studio it integrated to AWS and Azure as well, right? So
we can
normal Azure
integrate it.
provider. Okay,
We
okay.
can integrate it
But
easily. We can.
charges still available, right?
Yeah.
Charges, right? Okay,
Yes.
that's why
Yes.
used for mini cubes.
Yes.
Plugins we need to enable from here, right? Visual Studio itself, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Generally, it's a code editor. We can edit
Mm-hmm.
our configuration files. That's it.
Mm. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, yeah. So thanks for the clarification. So okay, I go through that master video class for
Okay.
Kubernetes.
Okay, miss.
I follow with you, yeah, sure. So
Okay.
I basically I'm from part of Intel and VMware. Nowadays their legacy they're all are moved to cloud, right? So cloud
Okay.
platform. So
Okay.
that's why I keep on learning Linux course as well. So why? Because the basic Linux is very recommended to right install.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Kubernetes will help you. Like it will really add more value to your profile if you are learning. One more suggestion also I can give. You
Mhm.
just prepare for a Kubernetes administrator certifications, because
Okay.
it's
Mhm.
actually the certification is very hands-on oriented, very practical oriented. You can
Mhm.
learn about entire Kubernetes, the environment, how you can
Okay.
set up the Kubernetes cluster by yourself instead of using some cloud services, how we can create our own managed cluster, how we can create it. If any
Mhm.
issues comes, how we can troubleshoot that.
Mhm.
That everything we can learn from that certifications. Okay,
So that
uh,
certifications, how we are any Udemy videos we need to do suggest or any online courses.
I can suggest there is one person who is taking uh, continuous serious.
Mhm. In
Okay,
YouTube itself, right? Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's actually very useful Kubernetes. Administrator certification
So,
series.
so this how much cost for certifications for if you
Um,
buy out? Yeah.
like for a Kubernetes, I think it's around um, $250 something, but we can get offers
Okay.
in
Okay.
Christmas and then Black Friday. Sometimes they will release some offers. Some discounts also we can get it.
No. Sure. Sure.
Kubernetes administrator certification cost. Okay, yeah, it's almost 400, but get 50% offer sometimes. Okay,
Okay. But
but
Indian
it's
rupee is
really
very right. So Indian rupee around 40,000 something, right? 395.
um, yes, correct. Like a 30,000, like
Uh,
not 30,000, 25,000. We have to
it
spend it,
spent it. Okay.
but it's
But
really valuable if you are
mhm.
a
Go to
like a
beginner level. If you start
yes,
means it will
yes,
very helpful actually. Okay.
yeah. Because I
Sure.
already discussed it
Mhm.
with some of the people who completed these certifications. They told they got Kubernetes related jobs only because of the completed these certifications actually.
Oh, is it okay? Okay.
Okay, so it's actually really a good one. So if you are otherwise even certificate without certification also, if you completed any projects, any POCs, which is
Mhm.
visible to public, you can mention your resume, and then
Mhm.
you can try it out. Okay, so that's
Sure.
also will help you.
Sure.
So
Sure. Virat.
certification
Yeah.
is one of the optional. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
sometimes it will value added. Okay, so you
Mhm.
decide based on that your requirement you decided.
Sure. 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 So
Yeah.
which video I go through it? Can you
Okay, okay,
link me
just a
that
second. Yeah,
actually? Yeah.
this one, this is the person. So
Okay.
I'm following on this person also. Is
Okay.
this series is really good. He is taking
Uh-huh.
40-day series. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so I will send the link with you. You just go through it everything.
Mhm.
Okay,
In
it's
local
fully
machines as well, we can create it and complete, right? Or we
yes,
need
yes.
it.
We
Okay.
can create and complete it.
Okay.
I will send it in the chat. Okay, I will stop recording.